Joining us for our ABC News Live coverage, we now join the entire nation with world news tonight on this Thursday night, a special edition here as we begin with the breaking news. A stunning moment in American history. Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, found guilty on 34 felony counts. The first former president of the United States convicted on criminal charges. The dramatic turn of the courtroom, the judge signaling he would excuse the jurors for the day. You could see the former president actually joking with his attorney at that point, and then jurors telling the judge that they had in fact reached a verdict. Whiplash in the courtroom, a sudden change in temperature when the former president realized he was about to learn his fate. They deliberated nearly 10 hours over the course of 2 days. A short time ago, Donald Trump returning to Trump Tower right here on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan after his conviction, pumping his fist, waving at the cheering crowd. Back in court, the former president sitting stone-faced as each of the charges was read one by one guilty on all 34 counts. The former president shaking his head at times. The former president reacting immediately, coming before the cameras, calling the trial rigged, disgraceful, saying, quote, "The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people." A short time later, we all witnessed here as we were carrying this live on ABC, the former president seen leaving the courthouse, getting into an SUV. The Secret Service there gathered to drive back to Trump Tower. He will return to the courthouse on July 11th to be sentenced by Judge Juan Merchan. Just days before the Republican National Convention. In fact, that sentencing 4 days before the RNC meets. Our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, with me here on the desk. We'll go to him on what this means, the law, the decision, this moment in history, and our correspondents with reaction. Mary Bruce is at the White House tonight. Rachel Scott on Capitol Hill with reaction from Republicans. What this does in the race for president. But first, the dramatic scene that played out late today from our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Petersky, leading us off at the courthouse.
Tonight, former President Donald Trump defiant, arriving home at Trump Tower after being found guilty as charged of all 34 counts of falsifying business records. Trump, now a convicted felon. The historic verdict coming after nearly 10 hours of deliberations. A unanimous jury of 12 New Yorkers made Trump the first president in history to be a convicted criminal. It was an extraordinary turn in the courtroom. Just moments before jurors signaled they had a verdict, Judge Juan Merchan indicated he was going to excuse them for the day. Then a dramatic shift. Trump went from joking with his attorneys to sitting stone-faced, looking down as the jury read the verdict count by count. Prosecutors proving Trump falsified business records to conceal a $130,000 hush payment to porn actress Stormy Daniels to keep her story from voters before the 2016 election. The former president then marching out of the courtroom with his lawyer Todd Blanche by his side.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
And outside court, cheers could be heard in the crowd as news of Trump's conviction spread. The trial lasting 7 weeks, 22 witnesses taking the stand, including Trump's former fixer and lawyer Michael Cohen, who Trump's defense team called the greatest liar of all time. Cohen late today releasing a statement saying today is an important day for accountability and the rule of law. While it has been a difficult journey for me and my family, the truth always matters. And Stormy Daniels in a statement tonight saying no man is above the law. Trump seen leaving the courtroom late today, getting into his SUV, surrounded by security. Judge Juan Merchan thanked the jury for their handling of a very stressful and difficult task, saying you were excused with the gratitude of the court. Court dismissed. The sentencing date for Donald Trump, July 11th, just 4 days before the Republican National Convention.
All right, so let's get to Aaron Petersky, our chief investigative correspondent, live outside the courthouse again tonight. And Aaron, as we were on the air, you reported on this extraordinary shift in temperature in that courtroom. Judge Juan Merchan at first indicated that jurors would be going home for the day, that this would sort of bleed into a third day of deliberations, which ostensibly would be a good sign for the defense team, a good sign for the former president that they had not come to a unanimous decision here. Suddenly, the judge then getting a note from the jury that they had reached their verdict. Can you describe the shift in tone, the sort of whiplash in that courtroom, and certainly what that must have been like for the defense table?
It was really incredible to watch former President Trump joking with his defense attorney, Todd Blanche. At one point, the defense attorney keeled over and laughing, nearly hitting his head on the defense table. He was laughing so hard. Prosecutors, too, sharing pleasantries, laughing with one another. And when the judge returned to the bench saying, "We're not going home because the jury has reached a verdict," the mood in the room instantly shifted. Everything became much more rigid. Court officers flowed into the room. There was not a sound from the crowd until the jury walked in and rendered its historic verdict, David.
Aaron Gutersky leading us off here tonight. Aaron, our thanks to you as always. I want to bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abramson. Dan,